Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your Fanatic and host, George Bueller. It's a lovely Friday and so glad to see you. And of course, we got our lead historian here. He may want to call himself a shitty historian, but our lead historian this evening here, the man hammer himself. Good evening, sir.
How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just, kind of took a bit of a half day today, so I had like a little bit of a longer first show, and then so I had a little bit of a half day at work.
Nice.
So came home and had to defend my tag team championship, which I did that successfully. And then one of my creative characters had to defend his world championship against the '96 version of Undertaker. Got my ass handed to me.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, that's the '96 version of the Undertaker was pretty powerful. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even coming up with Brother Love, not Paul Bearer. So like,
Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay, that's
Uh,
an interesting alternate universe.
uh-huh.
Uh,
Well, I mean, that was basically his first valet.
was it?
Yeah, Brother Love when he introduced him to basically because Million Dollar Man, I think like first introduced him and then he sold him to Brother Love, and Brother Love was his valet for about 5 minutes until they got Paul Bearer. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah. But basically, when he was initially introduced, Million Dollar Man introduced him, as my Undertaker,
Right.
yeah. But then, basically after that initial Survivor Series introduction, Brother Love was his valet for, like I said, about 5 minutes. It wasn't very long.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I must. I might remember that once I start seeing clips of it and everything, and it might trigger the
mhm.
memory. And I believe what you're saying, absolutely. But like, yeah, it's like it's hard for me to picture that in my head. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It was not very long at all, and then they got Paul Bear in there, R.I.P. Percy Pringle, and basically there was history from there. But yeah, so either way, so first bout '96 Undertaker just wiped the floor with me. He was unstoppable. On the other hand, the return match. And new got my belt back. So yeah, it was a tough afternoon, but I'm good now.
well,
So
good. Yeah, I had a long week at work, but it was a very productive week in a good way. We got a bunch of shit done that needed to get done. So
awesome.
that was and I think a lot of things going forward at work too will be a lot easier. So me and Eric were both talking, and it was yeah. So
That's all good news. So awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Excellent to hear that. So let's see. I got a whole bunch of comics to talk about here, all kinds of cool stuff. But first, I got a couple of movie reviews to talk about here.
Okay.
Well, first off, one is just a trailer, and then one is a movie I actually saw here. So, real quick, I can't. Of course, we're not going to show the trailer because YouTube doesn't like to show. So, anyway, so we're just going to show a poster here. But the next Evil Dead movie coming out called Burn, coming out on July 10th.
I need to see the trailer for that. I know the oh shit, yeah.
Yes, it's awesome. So I mean, as much as I loved Evil Dead Rise, I mean, there's some people have different opinions of it, like, oh, I miss Ash not being in the movies and yada yada yada. It's like, look, dude, it's like Evil Dead Rise proved you can take Evil Dead out of the woods and put that Necronomicon or another Necronomicon in this position, somewhere else, and still have that great level of terror. And I'm all in. Let's go. So yeah, this looks just as insane as Rise does. I'm not sure if it's the same director or not, but there's a little bit of rumor floating around about this real quick. First off, the families mix. There's like white and Latino families, because basically what is like a family member passes away, and then I don't know, somebody finds a Necronomicon, decides maybe they're going to try to revive said family member, and then
Right.
horror ensues. Anywho, but there's rumor that I can't remember the girl's name, but the girl's sidekick in Ash versus Evil Dead.
Oh yeah. I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember any other characters' names in this except aside from Ash.
I know Pablo.
Yeah, I'll get this. Yeah, Paula was a dude. I can't remember her name. Anyway, so
Yeah.
anywho, rumor is this may be her family. So there's that rumor. There's another rumor that basically, of course, this may be in a different part of the country where Evil Dead Rise happened. So is this the presence of a third Necronomicon? Being the original one that Ash dealt with, the one from Rise, and then basically this one here.
Yeah.
The other thing is there's a part. If somebody says a line in the trailer where they're talking about the Necronomicon that they found that may connect us all the way back to the original. So there's a lot of potential for a lot of linkage in the mythology of Evil Dead for Burn here, but either way, if you loved Rise, this trailer looks insane.
Now, see, I'm really excited to see it as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Oh, what's
Oh
monster?
no, I'm hearing a cat lick themselves. So
that's some intense
yeah.
licking if you're hearing it with headphones on.
Well, no, that's why it was. Yeah, that was like, oh shit, okay. But yeah, now, no, I loved the new Evil Dead movies, right, and
Mm-hmm.
putting them there. Now, like as far as like interconnecting them and making some kind of like deeper mythology, that stuff I don't need. So I'm
Mm.
kind of hoping it's just kind of like superfluous or like just kind of there if you want it to be. Like I hate I don't want it to turn into a big weird lore dump. I just want it to be a bunch of weird horror because
Yeah,
I always kind of felt like the Evil Dead movies were much more of like they're more Italian horror based, where it's like there's just like they're set up to have weird scenes. They may
yeah,
not necessarily have to be coherent. I mean, shit, like for the sequel remakes the first movie,
yeah,
and so
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, and it's and the third movie like it totally ignores half the stuff from the second. So yeah, I mean yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like the more the older that I'm getting and like involved with interconnected universes with everything, I'm getting very fatigued by it. And
I
and I'm saying that as someone who is willingly getting back into Star Wars recently. So take that for
I mean, this afternoon, you, Steve, and I had a very long Clone Wars discussion, so that
yes, we
so
did.
yeah, but for me, I kind of, I half-heartedly agree. I hope this isn't kind of connecting to some greater mythology. I hope this is basically just the presence of a third Necronomicon. Like basically, this evil spreads. Like there's more
Yeah.
than one of these books. So I like that idea. So
Right.
anyway, so we got a couple of comments real quick to address here. First off, our boy Steve here. Oh,
What
there
up,
he is.
Steve? Hello,
Hello,
ladies.
ladies. And of course, he's hitting us on Facebook and on YouTube.
Look at him try to double up on the comments. He's like, oh, well, they're gonna not know it's me doing it twice.
Yeah, well, there you go. And of course, our man Bill Doris in the hizzy. What's up, Bill?
What up, Bill?
Is
Yeah,
it Dan?
dude.
Yeah, Danhausen taking over ESPN. Yes.
I am loving Danhausen again. He was grating on me doing the whole Twitter, like the angry Twitter thing. And but
I'm
man,
not sure what
seeing
the angry Twitter thing was.
it was like right after he had joined with AEW, and then there was that whole deal where like he was upset that he wasn't going to get to wrestle, and Tony Khan just wanted him more in a comedic role, and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
But no, it's like yeah, screw all that shit. He's hysterical going on right now. Like I'm wanting to watch Backlash now tomorrow night just to see just to see him and the Miz.
Well,
Because
I'm
that
not
shit
sure.
has been comedy gold.
Yeah, I need to see what the match order is going to be because the first hour is free on ESPN, and since we still are connected via the cable, then I can
Oh,
at least watch the first hour for free, and then the rest of it I can watch on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
I'm very happy for Danhausen. He seems to be like a good dude. He's always cracked me up, and WWE is the merch kings, and why AEW never capitalized on Danhausen for the merch, even though whatever t-shirts he had sold like crazy. WWE has learned. So like there's Danhausen merch all over the place. So I'm so glad he's having his salad days right now. So
Yeah, it's dude has been in WWE for like what 3 months, and he's already been like as featured in WrestleMania with John Cena, and
mhm.
yeah, and it's like I mean, you won right there, man. Like what? Yeah, it's like I mean, I ain't mad at you, but brother, like keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah, yeah.
and seeing
Keep
him and he's winning me over too, seeing him with the kids. Right,
yeah.
like just seeing the kids just getting so excited to see him and Danhausen just like leaning into it. It's like that is like if he plays his cards right, like he's so set for life with that gig.
He really
Like,
is.
yeah,
Like
just
basically this could be like almost there's I hate to say this because I don't want to see him go, but this could be like R-Truth's like, okay, now I got somebody solid to replace me with the comedy stuff here, and now I can retire, with good conscience. And then Danhausen would basically be the next comedy guy to stick around the company for a while. So or
yeah.
like I said, I don't want to see R-Truth go. I'm not saying I don't want to see R-Truth go away anytime soon. I
No,
love
no, no, no,
R-Truth,
no. Yeah.
but this is definitely like anytime the two like they just the one tag team match where the two of them had a little bit of interaction. God, yeah. So people want to see the two of them together. So
And the thing is too, it's like think about Danhausen as a character too. So much crossover appeal. Like you can just you can take like what he's doing on ESPN, like just like irritating the shit out of sports people. And just you can do that, like you can put him in anything and then it's going to get eyes on the WWE stuff. And yeah, it's
100%. So
yeah.
Well, another movie I want to talk about that. Actually, I've actually seen this movie. It's amazing. It's totally up your alley. If you haven't watched this yet, They Will Kill You.
I have not seen this.
So yeah, this came out this came and went really quickly in March. I wanted to see it. I don't know if my local theater got it or not, or if they just had it for a week and I missed it or what. But Zazie Beetz is the star, and basically what it is, basically. Zazie is really close with her little sister. They have an abusive father. They're trying to get away, and basically the father finds them, or maybe it's I think it's a stepfather, maybe. The stepfather finds them, catches up to them, and something happens, and Zazie ends up going to jail. And then stepfather has control of little sister. So Zazie goes away to jail for a while. Well, then she gets out, and she basically she starts working she essentially starts doing some research trying to see where she can find her sister. Finds out she's working this hoity-toity old hotel, lots of rich people, la. And when she gets there, she finds there's a little bit more to the story than just they're crazy old eccentric rich people in an old hotel and have a whole bunch of black servants. There's other things going on, but so this is a little bit it's a lot of blaxploitation. It's a lot of Kill Bill. There's a little bit of a horror, supernatural element to it as well. It is fabulous, highly entertaining.
Okay.
It goes by way too quickly. You want more before this movie ends. So I can't see. I'm trying to think what the director's. Kirill Solikov, I think, is the director. Yeah, I'm not sure the pronunciation is that correctly. Yeah, but Kirill Solikov, I think, is the director on there. I want to see what this person's done before this movie, and I want to see what they do next. So,
okay,
yes,
that actually sounds pretty cool. I'll check that one out.
yeah. Of course, you got Patricia Arquette, Heather Graham, Tom Felton's in there. I don't know if Peterson Joseph is, but yeah. But anyway, but you got
that guy.
Yeah, he's that. Well, you got a good, solid cast. Not like too many big stars. Zazzy's the biggest star in there, but yeah, at least at the moment, I should say.
I love that name too, Zazie Beetz.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like it. It's jazzy. It's got zazz. But anyway, but yeah, she's So it's totally awesome. Totally awesome. Highest recommendation. So, anywho. Comics to talk about before we get around to our effed up history of art, which again, I know nothing about this except for Seth just told me the title. It's like, I want to do an effed up history of art next week. Okay. And that's all I know. And I can't wait to find out what. So, Cold War, let's see here. Steve says, wait until a Scooby-Doo crossover. Oh, we're talking about Danhausen. Oh my God, yes.
Oh God, that would be yes.
Yes, sir, Steve. Yes, I'll take 2. Yeah, 100%. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to have it. It goes back. All right. So a couple books I want to talk about from last week here. So 3 indie books here. So that means no Batman.
No Batmans.
No Batmans. Yes, even though there's been some Batman releases, but no Batmans this week. Sad to see this one go, but this is a really cool last issue. The final issue, number 8 of Skinbreaker.
Oh, that one's done.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was only going to be 8 issues, but yeah, Robert Kirkman, this glorious art by David Finch is all over this book. This is beautiful. I think why Rook Exodus has been late is because Finch has been doing this book. So, but yeah, this was such a cool book. I really love the story arc, the way it went here. You will be very satisfied with the finale, sir.
That is cool because I've really been enjoying Skinbreaker. I mean, the story itself isn't gonna like it's not like a
It's not, yeah,
I
it's
don't
nothing brand new. Yeah.
yeah, it's nothing new, but it's just it's there's still something to be said about a familiar story being told well. And
Yeah,
and and th- this is one of those cases, and the art is really what you're here for.
yeah, and of
And
course,
yeah,
I love the whole notion of like their rite of passage is like they have a certain type of skin when they're born and when they're young, and then when they go through this sort of rite of passage, then they basically have like a ceremony, and the chief has basically this, as you can see, this sword here is made of some sort of strange material. So it's not a man-made material. So it's purple and glows and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
when basically like they hold it up to the light and hold up to their young, if they are ready to transition to their next phase, kind of like to mature, the skin literally breaks, and then there's like this bronze skin that's underneath that's muscular and ready to go and ready to rip or whatever else. So they're strong warriors ready to go, ready for the hunt. But
yeah.
sometimes not every youth is ready, and so that sometimes that causes a little tension or whatever else. But so that's all part of the story. But yeah, just yeah, it's the David Finch's art, like he said, is just gorgeous. So
It's been such a good story and such a fun ride as a comic.
mhm.
I kind of didn't wish that I would have gotten the treasury style versions of it now,
Yeah,
like knowing that they exist and like, but like, yeah, I was too far into the series that whenever it was happening. Now I think I can get like there's the trade there's a trade coming out that's going to be that size, but
yep.
yeah,
So you can just get the trade, and you get it all four of them. There you go.
yeah.
Bob's your uncle. There you go. Uh, well, here's one other. I wish this series was longer because this is better than this. This is a sequel better than the original. But last year we had The Exorcism at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This year we have The Exorcism at Buckingham Palace.
Oh,
Unfortunately, this is only a 3-issue series because apparently number 3 is the conclusion, which I'm disappointed because this has moved so well. It began, again, this is the Exorcism at 16 Penn. Basically, was you had in this world as a female president of the United States, and she had her family, and the daughter was possessed by an evil force, and that was causing all kinds of whatever else. But they also try to get in some real world political stuff as well, thinking, well, is this actually an exorcism, or is this some sort of like there are these terrorists who had some sort of devices that would emit like sonic waves that would make people like freak out and do weird things or whatever else. So they maybe
right,
thought,
right.
is it this thing? So they was trying to mix the real world political with the supernatural, and eventually, of course, the supernatural takes over. So that was a 5-issue series, and so it drug. The pacing was good, but it also drug at the same time. But it had a really good conclusion and wrapped up really well, so I enjoyed it. But yeah, with this only being 3 issues, this is moving at a lightning pace, handling the political stuff well, because basically a large chunk of the royal family all vacations together on a boat, yacht sort of thing like that, and the yacht is attacked, but it's attacked by an otherworldly force, leaving a sole heir to the throne. And this guy basically has had some mental health issues. His mother died of suicide, and she was going to be queen. And so he's kind of
Prince
like
Andrew.
basically he's kind of rejected the throne and stayed away from it. And so now he's the sole heir, and basically you got like Prince. It's basically Prince Charles and this dude, and that's it. So, but apparently this is of course the Belmont family. Of course, I'd like that. It's like okay, it's a Castlevania nod there, so thank you. But yes, it's the Belmont family, and apparently there's a curse because a lot of members of the Belmont family, once they take the crown, the burden is sometimes too great for them. Well, it may not be. It may be this demonic presence that has basically haunted them for decades.
Okay. Shit.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So yeah. It's like I said, it's really good. So I'm like, and so it sucks that it's only 3 issues because the pacing's been great. I would like more, but if not, the
Right.
last issue is the conclusion. Like, I'm okay with that because I think it's going to wrap up well. But it's like, yeah, this has been a solid one.
Yeah, it's always better for a book to wrap up well, but like leave you wanting more than
Yeah,
to overstay its welcome or burn out too quick. Or burn
100%. Yes,
out,
sir.
like take too long to
Yeah.
burn out. Yeah.
And our last book to talk about from last week here, you're also going to like this one here, Thunder the Barbarian number 3.
Yeah.
So this series started out with basically a classic Thunder the Barbarian, goes to, save some people from the evil wizards and whatever else. And in the first issue, the Wizards Council gathered together and like, okay, Thundar is a problem for all of us. Why don't we band together and try to do something about it? And then suddenly Thundar is awakened in this reality where basically he's like basically Spartacus, he's a gladiator, prisoner, whatever else. There's no Ariel, there's no Ukla, there's no Sun Sword. Like, and he's like, what? So it's like, which is reality, which is fiction, whatever else. So it's kind of going back and forth for us. Issue 3 kind of ties that all together and finally kind of gets things going really well. So, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because that second issue definitely left me wanting to know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
I'm loving that Thundar series far more than I thought I would, and it's only been 2 issues in. I'm so excited to get my hands on that 3rd issue.
And once again, Jason Aaron writing out there. God bless him. I love Jason Aaron. All right, now we got some free comic book day stuff to talk about here. So there's a couple I want to talk about, give some good reviews to, and there's one in particular you want to talk about that I also got to read as well. So I'm well enough versed in it as I can be. But you definitely have some things you want to add to it. But first and foremost, one you're definitely going to be excited about here, our Energon Universe special for 2026
with Matt Tracker.
Yes, Mask is the lead story in here because, of course, we get our Mask series in June, which is connected to the Energon universe. Basically, this is literally the perfect blending of the G.I. Joe and the Transformers because essentially Matt Tracker and Miles Mayhem, when they initially were working together before Miles turned on Matt and made him apparently the most dangerous criminal in the whole world, sort of bullshit. They were working with a group called Shadow Group or Shadow Force or whatever else. And essentially, they were aware of the presence of the Transformers, had Energon, and were developing weapons to fight the Transformers because they could transform into, they were normal things and then transform into other weapons and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yes, that's going to be kicking off. The Mask series come out in June. Can't wait for that. That looks awesome. There's, of course, a Transformers story in here, which is kind of looks like a flash forward into the future, and it's a silent little piece, maybe about 3 pages, but I'm highly intrigued by it.
Okay.
Of course, you get a little Void Rivals things going on here. The Jumpticons finally getting involved in Void Rivals, so yeah, I may start. I was kind of bowed out of Void Rivals with buying it. Just kind of keeping an eye on and things getting interesting.
Right.
Yeah, we're cool. And then last but not least,
bring you back. Yeah, Void Rivals did hit a lull. Yeah,
they did. It's like this whole Quintesson War thing. I'm like, this has been boring. It's not, but anyway, it's Anyway, so what's to come? It may be cool. Last but not least, our G.I. Joe story. Talk about a little Zartan here, maybe what his agenda is for the G.I. Joe team and also the existence of Night Force as well.
So is it finally revealed anything about Zartan finally coming out from being undercover as the Baroness as well?
No, but they did make it very clear that whatever Zartan has done to himself to perfect his Master of Disguise using Energon, one of his main allergies is he's allergic to sunlight, and his skin turns blue.
Shit!
but it is also extremely painful for him. So yeah, so basically, yeah, the energon that he is using to experiment on himself to make his perfect disguise is essentially, it's not like it's kind of, if you remember the X-Men character Husk, where she could basically like rip off her skin and make like different layers underneath to do different
Yeah, yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's kind of how he does his disguises, because the energon he has experimented with himself on. Essentially, he's not wearing a mask; it's skin, and then he can tear that skin off, and he's back to his original Zartan.
Okay, that is cool. That is cool as shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I did see that issue 25 of G.I. Joe is the Night Force versus G.I. Joe issue.
Yes, it is. And
Yeah.
I also noticed that, of course, G.I. Joe's been doing like, they'll do like blank covers for different things. So they've had like blank cover with like the G.I. Joe logo, or blank cover with the Cobra logo. Well, this time around, it'll be a G.I. Joe, blank with the logo, the Joe logo, and the Night Force logo.
Nice.
So when I saw that, I immediately thought of you. It was like, if you gave any shit about a blank cover, this would be the one.
It's the Night Force, but you know that I am the Night Force dude. Yeah, Night Force is my sub team.
And see, and like with me, it's Tiger Force. Like if they did anything with Tiger Force, eventually the Energon universe, I will pop like a sumbitch on that.
Yes.
So
yeah. You know they're gonna work something into it, man. They got it. Yeah,
they got it eventually.
Fucking Outback's gonna show up, and it's gonna be like him in Tiger Force gear.
Well, it'd be like him, Dusty. Hell, you can get any of like the Arctic guys in there too. Like they haven't introduced like Alpine or Iceberg yet.
Yeah,
Bazooka. You can throw Bazooka in there. Sure. I mean, just yeah. So we could do some stuff with Tiger Force. So our next one to talk about here, I am looking very forward to this Avengers Armageddon series. So of course, you get some X-Men preview, which I'm sorry, with X-Men, I don't care at this point right now with Marvel. But the Avengers Armageddon, apparently this is going to be something on the level of Avengers Disassembled, where we're going to lose members. There may be body counts, a big thing to happen to the group, yada, 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 involving the Red Hulk trying to take over Latveria in the wake of the death of Dr. Doom. And he's completely crazed, possibly, and under the possession of maybe something like another mutant called the Whisper Man, who might be infecting him a little bit to making him even crazier, whatnot. But yeah, so if the opening intro to this is true, yeah, we're going to lose some like tentpole members, like major members of the Avengers that will surprise people. Like if this is not like, oh, it's gonna like it's if this is a real thing, this is gonna be interesting. If it's like, oh, well, this is like an alternate reality, it didn't really happen, I will be disappointed. But like this is like, holy shit, kind of like losing members. So like people like members of the Avengers who have their own movies, kind of people. Yeah. So like,
how long until they come back though? That's the kicker.
Yeah, exactly. Right now the record for Kamala Khan is 1 week. Like she died in the comics and they killed her off, and like, oh my god, they killed Kamala. Then literally 1 week later she gets resurrected by the X-Men. I'm like, they waited like a whole month for Superman. Like Superman had a whole month of being dead and enjoying probably some nice boat drinks on the beach somewhere, but
yeah.
Before we get to the one you want to talk about here, this is the one I think you may actually want after I get talking about it here. The Greatest American Hero, coming to us from AMP Comics with this beautiful David Mack cover.
I was gonna say, I love that cover.
Yes, they actually got William Katz's likeness in here, so they're actually able to use his likeness for the character. It is a sequel to the TV show, so apparently our hero has been gone from Earth for a while. His son has grown up to be an adult, and kind of like, definitely he's had some issues because mom passed away before dad left, and basically dad had to go back up with the aliens, and there you go. So he's basically lived alone. So now our boy is back trying to save the Earth for something big coming. Still awkward with the suit, not entirely learned everything yet, but since now we're dealing with comics and not a TV show from the early 80s. We have a little bit more budget of him to able to do cool superhero shit. So
Right, right.
and not just fly awkwardly. Like he can actually do some cool shit in here. So, but yeah, so we got this great father-son story. There's still the son still doesn't believe that he's this hero and the aliens. He thinks his dad's crazy and oh my god, you're wearing the stupid pajamas kind of stuff. But
Right.
yeah, so this has potential to be something really cool. I don't think the first issue's gone on for order yet, but as soon as it hits the order, yeah, I'm pre-ordering one of these because yeah, I love the show as a kid, and this is really really good.
Yeah. If you got any more of them issues, snag me one. Yeah.
I do.
Why not?
I do. I do. I was saying, like, I wasn't sure if you would, because you may have been too young for this one, or you maybe caught it in reruns or something like that.
I caught it in reruns. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, before you go, so I thought there was an Ablaze Conan.
There was, and we didn't get it. There's a bunch of stuff that Tommy ordered because like he ordered that one because of course we're a Conan friendly store, so we get everything
Right.
Conan. And then also we got nothing from DC, even though he ordered the stuff. Most of DC stuff was kind of bunk. It was reprints no one cared about, but there was also a new Lego Batman, and everybody wanted the Lego Batman. I'm like, sorry, we didn't have a Lego Batman. But the one big book that we did have, and we sold out of, and is now going for about $20 online right now. Dungeon Crawler Carl 0 issue.
Yeah, that one. So that one was interesting. I kind of had a feeling on this one, like if I have any kind of speculator sense going, it dinged when I heard they were doing a free comic book day Dungeon Crawler Carl thing. Because I remember texting you the moment I heard that it was out to see if you all were getting it, and you were just like, kind of like, yeah, I mean, we are, whatever this weird thing is, like, it's like because I know you'd been hearing about it, but it was I thought it was going to be a pretty niche book, but the fandom for it had gone nuts. Like the subreddits, like were going ape shit over people who didn't understand free comic book day for one thing. And number two, we're trying to go out thinking that these things were going to be printed in the millions, and it's like no, like how many copies of that? If you don't mind, how many copies did y'all get of that? If
Actually, Tommy had the foresight to order at least 5 stacks of these. So he had the foresight to order a lot. So we have on Free Comic Book Day, we had plenty for people of like our regular customers or like the families coming in. We, of course, there was folks coming out of the woodwork that don't read comics, but they love Carl, and they wanted this book. So people who never participated in Free Comic Book Day were like, do you guys have Dungeon Crawler Carl comics? Yes, we do, right this way. So I mean, yeah, and so yeah, so on Saturday, last Saturday we were able to take like, dude, that was a busy day. I did like a 3-hour live stream and then stuck around till like 5:36, whatever else, because like it was just the morning rush was there and lasted for a good 3 hours. And then it kind of died down a little bit, and then it picked back up a little bit. It's like it was just this constant stream of people. And of course, we had a good sale going on as well. But y'all, Free Comic Book Day warms my heart. It's Christmas for comic book fans, and to see all kinds of our regulars and some of the regulars don't come out very often, and families and people just walking in off the streets and whatever else. Just I love it. But Carl was the belle of the ball.
and okay, so now that you've said that about Free Comic Book Day, I want to get into the second part of what I wanted to talk about this book, that particular book for. So on Reddit, one of the subreddits, or the Dungeon Crawler Carl subreddit, it blows up because there's a comic book shop in Colorado that has the Dungeon Crawler Carl comic, and you can get it if they're selling it for $10. Or you get a copy for free if you make a purchase in the store of $50 or more. Now, people were saying outraged that Free Comic Book Day was allowing this to happen, right? Like Free Comic Book Day is this entity that is controlled. And you had some people that were smart to the gimmick that were like, no, they're actually buying these copies. They can sell them if they want to. Nothing on the thing says that like that particular comic is free like that. It's just, it's also the same gimmick as to why you can you can't get upset that you're not being sold a 35-year-old comic book for 75 cents. Like what's on the cover price.
Mhm.
But as far as like the ethics of it go, shop wise, it was like it felt like kind of a scummy thing to do that way. Like I understand limiting free comic book day, like one per customer, or
Yeah,
like
but
five total or something, right?
yeah. In our case, it was like basically each person got their pick of 5 books. You couldn't
Yeah,
buy 5 of the same book, but you could get 5 different books.
right, right. Which is very fair. And you guys, I've seen the spread that you all have. Like, it's like you've got like probably at least 40 different selections.
Yeah, and
If
of course,
yeah,
this year was different because you had free comic book day, but since Penguin Random House didn't like the fact that this year with the new company, instead of getting the books for free or being able to publish their books free, you had to pay into it, and they're like, no, no, we ain't gonna do that. So
yeah.
we're gonna do our own day called Comic Giveaway Day, and it'll be on the same day. And so yeah, so we had to basically order stuff from Free Comic Book Day and then stuff from Comic Giveaway Day to get both sets of books. So
Right, right.
yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah.
so the customer knew nothing different aside from the different logo or whatever else. The shop owners have to deal with basically dealing with 2 distributors when you normally had to deal with one. So
Right, right.
whatever else.
Yeah.
But anyway, we like I said, for whatever reason we didn't get any of the DC stuff. But anyway, but yeah, but either wise it worked out. We got everybody, all the Marvel stuff, all the indie stuff, and like I said, this guy was huge. Like
Yeah.
it, so yeah, I heard a lot of people when I was doing my live stream talking about a lot of their local comic shop is like you have to get so many things, you have to purchase something to be able to get one of these for free, or you could buy one, yada yada yada. Yeah, so I heard a lot of that.
Yeah.
What we ended up doing is like, so Saturday we were giving away for free. You could walk in, take 5 books, walk right out, not buy a single thing.
Right.
Yeah, and this book included. And then on Sunday, Josh, who also works the store, sold a couple of our backstock like bricks that we didn't have quite on the shelf yet. They're still wrapped up, and sold like a couple of those on eBay for buku bucks to obviously flippers. And so we made some money back on those,
Yeah.
but we still had free ones to give away too. So
Right. Yeah.
so for
No,
the people
but
who walk in
yeah,
the shop,
it's
we
your
still
all
had
stock. Yeah, you're all
yeah.
stock, and you still participated in Free Comic Book Day. But yeah, it's like like no, nothing wrong with that at
Yeah.
all. Like
So
yeah,
it's like, yeah, so we basically got the best of both worlds in that case because, it's like, yeah, so we got to participate in Free Comic Book Day, give them out to our customers, still had them on Sunday to give out to customers, but then by Monday, yeah, there you go.
right. Yeah,
Yeah. But anyway, so we have
yeah,
we have no Carls anymore, aside from if we pulled one ourselves there. But either
right,
way,
right.
it is an adaptation of part of the first chapter of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which, if you're not familiar with the story, is essentially you got this normal dude living in an apartment with his ex-girlfriend's cat. And she's already left, but the cat stayed. And basically, the cat gets loose out of the house or the apartment or wherever else. So Carl's running out after her. Carl's wearing like a shirt, no pants. And he's got his like boxers, like heart boxers on there, and then like Crocs. So
Yeah, the yellow
this
Crocs.
yeah. So this is the picture of the guy who's running outside looking for a cat. There's some sort of alien invasion that happens, and it like blinks away a whole bunch of people, and only a few people are chosen. Well, when you know who won the pony, Carl and the cat are chosen, and so they basically have to go on this like weird game show that's essentially like D&D if it was a game show, and kind of like the Running Man. Like you have to go through a dungeon. Oh, I'm sorry, please.
Well, you're selling it just a smidge short.
Oh, am I?
If you
Sorry.
don't mind, yeah. So the entire planet is pretty much obliterated, right? Like
Oh, yes.
like the surface of the planet is just like crushed and pressed down. The only thing and there's these giant staircases that show up that were constructed by this big alien network
Yeah.
that are basically putting them on this show called stylized off of or similar to the Running Man with the bizarre D&D rules. But yeah, it's like it's taken matter on Earth and reappropriated it to make these things in the maze. So
Okay.
it's like this horrifying, like kind of like mix of familiar versus strange and alien going on too. And yeah, and the people that are alive are the ones who are outside when they happen. So if you were indoors, you were just smashed and crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Carl only lived because Donut ran out the window. and he
Yeah,
was outside.
Princess Donut.
Princess
Princess Donut.
Donut, yes.
Yeah.
And if
So,
you're a cat person, you will love Dungeon Crawler Carl. The
mhm.
audiobooks I cannot recommend highly enough.
I've heard the same thing. Yes,
Yes.
I myself have not read the books for. I've just read this as my first introduction. Which, by the way, to show you the last page here. So we have trade paperbacks of Dungeon Crawler Carl and then Dungeon Crawler Carl Crocodile.
Okay, Crocodile I think is something different. It's still Dungeon Crawler Carl, but I think it's a different perspective or a different crawler that's not Carl
Okay,
in the
okay, cool.
dungeon. I believe that's what that gimmick is.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan if you can't tell. Yeah, but
Listen, I need to read these books because they sound a lot of fun and whatever. But
it's the lit RPG genre, but and the thing is, it's like it turns a lot of people off because at first it's like stats and shit where it's going at you, but
yeah,
then once you start to like, I'll spoil this. I'll spoil one part of it just to kind of give you an idea of how it's going. So like the thing that hooked me in it is as I'm reading it, like they get to the first boss character that they're fighting, right? And the game shows like boss character, blah blah blah, and
yeah, yeah.
it's this giant like obese like blobbish female monster looking thing, and Carl recognizes that it's speaking Spanish, right?
Okay.
And so it's like it's written in the text as it is, and so it's like they're fighting it, and like it's like donuts shooting eye lasers at it and shit, and like they end up they end up killing it, but it's like she's speaking in Spanish and there's these lines. So it's like I'm on Discord, one of my buddies who knows Spanish. So I send him over. I'm like, what does this line mean? And it's like, and he's like, oh, that translated is, oh God, help me, please. I have no idea what's going on. Please no, stop. This is like please what's going on? And he's like, what the hell are you asking me to translate? And I'm like, oh, it's this book. Like, so like that tells you like right there, like as far as the book's concerned, that like shit's going on in the maze, like people are getting fucked with in this maze, right?
Okay,
But
okay.
it's never really like explicitly stated like out like and for it lets the books let you pick up on what's going on,
Nice.
and or like very subtly as it goes through, and it becomes like this very interesting commentary on consumerism and like individuality and free will and found family, and not in that weird hokey way, but it's actually like really kind of saying something about, and especially about like it's man, you just gotta fucking get into it, man. I
Yeah,
know I know you'll
I
dig
just
it.
I know. Well, and the thing is too is like, of course, picture. So this guy has basically like with this cat, which like the Dungeon Crawler Crawl thing. This is probably like if you're reading the first book, maybe within the first 20 pages. Like they've revealed very little. Like I wasn't aware the cat starts talking, and then you told me the cat has eye lasers. So that's a thing there. So yeah. So shit happens. But here's the funny thing. So basically, like, there's this commentary from, I guess, the aliens or the host or whatever else. They're basically kind of telling him what's going on. Like, you got to do this and this and this to survive, yada, yada. And like, wait, you're going to go in the dungeon? Like, yeah. So I guess. So you tell me how to go. It's like, you're not wearing like any armor. You don't have any pants on. You don't have any weapons. Okay, well, I'm going in. No pants, no armor, no weapons, and he's going into a mysterious dungeon that to possibly anything could possibly kill him. So, yeah, I'm in. Also, apparently, this is probably news for most of you. Dungeon Crawler Crawl's been picked up by Fuzzy Door Productions, Mr. Seth MacFarlane.
If anybody has the sense of humor to match Dungeon Crawler Carl, it's Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, and apparently it's gonna be a live action adaptation too. So
yeah, the AI on this thing, yeah, and excuse me, if you go and listen to it on the audiobooks, the first audiobook, like the voice of Carl is a little Patrick Warburton-y. And so that's the guy that does the narration specifically said that like he went too hard on it, so it's different in the later books. But you don't let that be a deterrent. Carl is not a Patrick Warburton kind of character.
yeah,
So
he doesn't strike me as that.
yeah.
This almost kind of strikes me like if DJ Qualls basically suddenly had to go into like a D&D sort of thing like that,
No, he's a little more badass than that. Like
Okay.
I think the comic book kind of mangas him up, so making more of like a traditional manga character. But no, he like in the books he's characterized as like an athletic guy. He's not like Schwarzenegger or anything, but he's an athletic guy, former Coast Guard. Like he's got some physical prowess about him,
Okay.
and he's more of like kind of like a Call of Duty jock bro, but not necessarily an asshole, so to
I get
speak.
you.
Like, yeah,
I get you.
but yeah, you'll get endeared to him very quickly.
I dig it. Well,
Yeah.
two words to talk about real quick here before we get to our subject du jour here. I've been loving the second run of Absolute Superman. This is issue number 19. So the first 12 issues was the big run of like the Superman versus Ra's al Ghul. We kind of had some lot of world building, whatever else. And of course, the way that ended was amazing. But this second story arc that has introduced King Shazam, which basically, if you essentially blend Shazam with Black Adam, make them the same person, that's what we're dealing with here. But he's been trapped for thousands of years. He's let out, and now he's very pissed off about this. And like, who's this other kid here with the flyy dust around here who's trying to be me? So yeah, he's angry and whatever else. This has been such a good run. Jason Aaron, once again, the writer on this one here. But a couple of big things happen. Like, we lose a big character in this issue that was rather surprising. Especially after the arc this person went through in the first storyline, then going into this one in particular. So yeah, the first 12 issues of Absolute Superman, I still would highly recommend. They are slow burn, but once it picks up and gets going, it's really awesome. And the second volume, yeah, just so
Okay.
good. Really, really, it's like this. It's a Superman that's not are confident he can do anything, whatever else. Like, he has all those abilities, but he's still learning. He doesn't quite know. He's very angsty, as like he's kind of in his like late 20s at this point now. But so he's still got a lot of anger and angst and kind of just you know, a lot of emotion going on, but he still has those Superman abilities, but he just doesn't have that, I'm Superman kind of thing. So
Right.
it's a nice different take on things and a different take on the world building as well here. So yeah, really, really enjoy that one. I can't believe I'm hardcore regularly reading an Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Superman book, but I'm reading both those on a regular basis.
You're reading the entire Absolute line at this point, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the entire, yeah. So, and of course, we have coming up Catwoman and Green Arrow, which Catwoman, I'll check it out, but I'm not as excited about it. But Green Arrow, and of course, I know
Green Arrow looks cool as shit.
I'm getting one for you too. Don't worry. Yes.
Please,
So,
yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
That cover alone, just like, is getting me.
Yeah, and I love, like, there's like a little sales tagline. It's like, this Green Arrow is a little less Errol Flynn and a little more Michael Myers.
Michael Myers, yeah.
Okay. And of course, in answer finally to this, because basically Marvel's newer Ultimate Universe started off really hot and is kind of ending with a thud a little bit. With basically how the Ultimate Endgame storyline's been going. So they've got a new initiative coming up this October called Midnight. And if you know your old school Marvel horror, this is basically a bit of a resurrection of the Midnight Suns kind of stuff. The Marvel horror, basically mixing 70s and 90s stuff, essentially. But they said in the press release, this is a mixture of kind of our own version of Vertigo and the Absolute Universe. So it will be disconnected from the regular Marvel Universe stuff. You will see reinventions possibly of different characters, but they name dropped like Ghost Rider, Blade, Morbius, Dracula, Werewolf by Night, the Spirits of Vengeance, just the list goes on and on. With names like Jonathan Hickman and Benjamin Percy attached as writers for these projects. So fingers crossed, this might be cool. It sounds cool. And all you got to do is say Marvel horror, and I'm in. Because that was part of my.
Fair, yeah.
I grew up on Tomb of Dracula, for God's sakes, and Werewolf by Night. So I'm like, yeah. So
dude, Tomb of Dracula was such a good fucking series, man. Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan on the pen, man. Dude, any book that Gene Colan penciled, like his Howard the Duck, man, that shit was like, dude. Between that, the Tomb of man. So, man, have you seen the Operation Monster Force action figures?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen their Dracula?
No, I haven't. No.
Like, look at their Dracula, because it's a dead ass Gene Colan Dracula in like the 1/12 scale. Like if you were wanting Dracula to fight your Joes, like this would be the dude that you get with it. And yeah.
Now, you guys handle that one? I mean, this might be an all hands on deck sort of situation here, folks. Don't
Yes.
tempt me with a good time. All right, our last book to talk about here. This was an image book. At first, I wasn't going to get this, but a lot of folks really popped for this one, and I kind of like the concept, and I kind of like where this is going to go. But this is Image Comics. If Destruction Be Our Lot.
Ooh, I
So,
like that cover.
So this the creative team on this is Matthew and Mark Elijah Rosenberg are the writers on this one, and Andy McDonald's your main artist on here with Francesco Segala and Hassan Osame. God, I'm just going to massacre this person's name, so we're just going to go with Hassan. Yes, but anyway. So the concept on this is a little bit Wall-E, where you've got basically we created all these robots to serve us in many different ways and means and all sorts of things with all service levels or performance or yada yada yada. Then we all died, and the robots are still here. So the robots are basically living in the city, still sort of performing their tasks, even though there's no one to perform their tasks for. So it's a little on the sad side. But you've got this robot that is an Abe Lincoln performer, like a Hall of Presidents sort of thing, like that, right? And so
Right.
he still does his Abe Lincoln speeches and stuff like that. No one cares, but he's also kind of getting curious, like, man, we haven't seen any humans in like a really long time. And somebody does the math, like it's been 87 years since there's been a human being. So he starts getting a little curious and asking questions to some of the other robots, like the buses or the guy that makes your breakfast or whatever else. And just kind of starts figuring like, is there a greater world out there somewhere? And the
Yeah.
answer comes at the end of this issue that maybe there is, and maybe not all the humans are gone.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I say, it just has a little bit of like a more grown up tinged Wall-E kind of feel to it. But I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I originally wasn't going to check it out, but then I kept getting some good reviews from some of my people on the live stream. It's like, dude, I've read it online already. It's good. Check it out. I
Right.
bought a copy. It's like, okay, so I bought a copy before we sold out the A covers, which that was the main A cover. I think we still have some variants left. But I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. All right. I'm done, sir. So now our topic du jour, handing the reins over to you, Seth. The effed up history has returned here, which is long awaited. I love this segment here, mostly because I get to shut up and Seth gets to talk. But second off, I'm very interested in what you come up with. And so this is the effed up history of art. Take it away.
Well, thank you. But this time actually, we might be both talking a little bit on this one because
I
yeah. So, but to preface it a little bit, so one thing that's always fascinated me about just like life in general is how people talk about what they see as art,
sure.
right? So one of my very earliest one of my very earliest perceptions of recognizing art as its individual thing that people can have their own tastes in came
Sure.
from something that I was reading in a Wizard magazine of all things. And you might even remember this issue. Sorry, Moxley's right here and he's making me rub his butt. But yeah. But so it was this gentleman, and I wish I could remember his name. I couldn't find the issue, of course, because it's like how when are you going to need like a magazine from 35 years ago? That you're gonna do a random talk about on a podcast, on a random Friday night. But yeah. But he had his home had been decorated. He had painted like not murals, but like superhero images on the sides and fence of his house.
Okay,
So
cool.
like a fence panel had like the Batman symbol, and then like another panel had the Superman symbol, and then there was like he had Wonder Woman on his garage door, and like he had like Hal Jordan Green Lantern, on this wall and all this kind of shit. And so like they're interviewing him and they're asking him about it, and he's like, yeah, so like some people see like like Michelangelo paintings as art, and it's like I see like George Perez's Wonder Woman as art. And it's like, no, it's like, you're right. And as an adult, you can, hang whatever you want in your house,
Sure, yeah.
as you perceive art, because yeah. But growing up, I never really got to have an art appreciation, or like, there was just crap hanging on the walls in the house. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
stuff it was just the arbitrary decoration.
Yeah, you never got
You
to see
know,
the real thing. Yeah, yeah.
right. Up until like you're much older, and then you start to wonder. It's like, a lot of people just look at art as something that's just, people can draw, or have a certain talent, or songwriting ability, whatever. But
Yeah.
to really look at the idea of what art is, what makes something art, what makes it to your individual taste as a human.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing too. It's like, it's very subjective, right?
Extremely, yeah.
Yeah, and so this is the first time we've done this on this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Should be. I see there. Add to
Yeah.
scene.
So this fella right here, like, like one of the earliest forms of artistic expressions, cave paintings and shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, this is one that, it's like, the level of detail with it and everything, like, somebody took some time and effort to make this, right? Like,
Sure.
they wanted their shit to look good, and it obviously lasted, however many hundreds of thousands of years to get to this point where we're looking at it, right,
Sure,
through
yeah.
this picture. And so it's like, people have just been needing to. But do you think that the guy that made this, or woman, or whoever made this, do you think that they were just thinking that this was art, right? Do they have a concept of it, like?
Oh, I would say probably not. I would think that like they're just like, you know, it's a documentation, so to speak.
Right.
Like, since they didn't have cameras and the written word didn't exist, so like, here are these things we see, and here's a depiction, a scene of you know maybe their behavior or what we do with them or to them or whatever else. So
Right.
yeah,
I almost even see it as a form of entertainment for them too, because
very
it's like,
possible. Yeah,
the act of creating it.
yeah.
Because, yeah, it's like, I mean, what else are you going to do in these places?
Yeah, yeah. Cable TV did not exist at this point, folks. So
Right.
yeah, so sitting around
Yeah.
watching somebody make a cave painting, yeah, that's a hot Saturday night right there.
Yeah. But I mean, but we can both look at this, and reasonably, anybody that's not trying to be contrarian could look at this and go, technically, yeah, this is art, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely, sure.
like, I can't see any reason why this would not be considered art.
Yeah, well,
And
there's so many different forms, and like this would basically be very simply called like primitive, or I forget,
right.
or there's another name for it, what they but yeah, but basically this would be like a primitive art form, obviously. But yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And it's like, you can find different variations and different, like, oh, sorry.
No, maybe
Different
that's
in, yeah, different, like, scales and every levels of detail with things, like,
Mhm.
some of them are more stick figures and everything. But so
Yeah,
so we go from that, and then we move on to, like, other, and is art, like, when we even say art, it's not even just like, like the visual image or a visual representation of something. It's something
right.
that, like, art is more of a form of expression in various forms, right?
Sure.
And so it's like, you can even be abstract with the shit.
Mhm.
But then you get into weird things like, okay, so
I
you
like
might have
weird
you
stuff.
might have even heard this one, right? So this is written by one of the most famous musicians of all time. I'm just going to read you a translation of the lyrics. Okay, are you ready for this?
Sure.
Yeah, people, world renowned musician. Lick me in the ass quickly, quickly. Lick me in the ass quickly. Lick me, lick me, lick me. Lick me, lick me, lick me, lick me, lick. Quickly, 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 quickly. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Lick me in the ass quickly, 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 quickly. Ah. Lick me in the ass quickly, quickly. Lick me in the ass. Lick me in the ass quickly. Lick me.
Prince.
No! Fucking Mozart, dude. Yeah. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
See,
This
we knew he was rock and roll, baby.
yes. This
Oh, love it.
dude, yeah. So Mozart had he had a little penchant for being he was pretty much kind of almost the punk rock, classical musician, right?
Yeah.
And so like yeah, he wrote this and he would love to get people to do it at parties because everybody'd be like, Mozart, play us something. So he'd be fine, here you go. Here's the lyrics, let's sing on this and go. And everybody starts going and they're like, wait, oh man, he got us with the ass licking song again.
Yeah.
And so but can't say it Mozart wasn't an artist, right?
Yeah, I mean, he made all sorts of beautiful music, but yeah, he was. I mean, if anything of the Amadeus movie from the '80s was true, he definitely was a bit of a prankster.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and especially given this, I mean, documented very. They don't teach you this in high school, obviously.
Yeah,
Like yeah,
yeah.
we
They skipped this one in the classical music class.
yeah, when Mr. Guernsey was teaching us musical theory in 8th grade, and we were talking Mozart, we never talked about this side of him,
Well,
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's just like with Chuck Berry wrote so many great early rock and roll songs, but his last hit was "My Ding-a-Ling."
Exactly, right? Okay, so that's kinda leading into the other point that I wanna get into with this, is,
Yes.
like, the musician as the artist and making the offensive song, right?
Mm. Okay.
So,
Okay.
we're all very familiar with, Jello Biafra and being put on trial for obscenity in the '80s with the Frankenchrist album.
Yep.
That wasn't necessarily for the musical content of the record, it was more for the painting in the record, but the musical content did get brought into play
Yes.
because that was one of the points of defense that the prosecution tried to make.
Hmm.
But then so you've always had subversive musicianship that was artistic expression in its own right, even if it is an ass licking song.
Yep.
Right. And so, yeah, you've got Chuck Berry writing songs about his dingling. You've got Wesley Willis writing his, My Mother Smoked Crack Rock.
Hmm.
Wesley Willis is another, rest his soul, one of the most amazing musicians I've ever heard just for his weird abstract performance art method of, musicianship on a Casio keyboard. That's okay. That's the other thing too. Another thing I wanted to talk about.
And to come up with songs on the fly, nonetheless, too, like
Yes.
complete songs.
Yeah, yeah, he would just literally bang a bunch of this shit out, and that's the other
Anyway,
thing too, that it's like I appreciate Wesley Willis as an artist because he didn't want large production values or scale. Like he used what he had to the best of his ability, as limited as you want to say it was. It's like, I mean, in a weird way, it's like I kind of think he was kind of a musical genius for doing what he was doing.
and
You know,
very
it,
similar to Daniel Johnston in the same regard. Basically a
right?
guy who basically made up his own stuff, lo-fi production, had a whole career doing stuff. Probably maybe made $5, but he didn't care. He was
Yeah.
making.
Yes, and again, and that takes you to another point with it, where people monetizing art, right?
Yeah.
So you've got artists that, like, if you can commercialize, be an artist and like make money being creative, like
Hmm.
that, you hit the fucking jackpot to begin with, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can just get paid to make your mind's vision a reality.
Okay.
Eh, but like a lot of, art, the this is where I guess we're getting into the nitty-gritty. My definition of an artist. My
Sure. Yeah.
definition of an artist is someone that may not even necessarily have that luxury, but still has to create something or put something out there anyway.
Yeah.
It's like the limitation is not based off of the tool set that you have, or the tools, or the things that you have. You just
Or
work with what you got.
resources, even. Yeah.
Yeah, resources. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, even
Yeah.
better. Uh, but yeah, Wesley Willis, like, it's like, yeah, he's a tape deck and a Casio keyboard, and he was good to go.
Yep.
It's like some dudes can just some dudes can pick up a pencil and write a novel on notebook paper, right? And just crank it out. Like Quentin Tarantino writes scripts in longhand,
Hmm.
like in notebooks, and then
Yeah.
like have someone else type them out because he doesn't want to type. And it's like, that's bizarre to me. but like that's how his process. Yeah,
Of course it kind of feeds probably maybe a little bit of possible mental disorder, kind of there or some sort of possible spectrum, or that maybe an undiagnosed or whatever else. There's a lot of that behavior, but yeah, basically he'll either do like, depending on what he feels like, notebooks, or he'll just do like legal pads. But yeah,
right. Yeah,
all of his movies to date have been, with the first draft or even maybe a couple later drafts, have been written on paper and pencil.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so that kind of, that kind of level of creativity with some people. It's like some people just got to get the shit out,
Yeah.
one way or another, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I dig that to me is the more interesting art than like, somebody like, and it's like if you can draw like, a beautiful vivid picture, it's like I love comic book art for what it is, right? It's like I
Sure.
think that's like some incredible art. Now when you start to get into the later, more head up their own ass art movements,
Mm-hmm.
is what I like to call. It leads me to one of my favorite art stories of all time.
Oh yeah.
And it's from this art this art experiment by this Italian dude, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Piero Manzioni. But
Okay.
it's hang on, I'm gonna pull up the image here, and 1961, called Artist's Shit.
Yep.
And
I know
he
enough French to know what mierda means.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he has made up these cans, and it's called Artist's Shit. And it was supposed to be a commentary on how art has been commodified and consumerized. Now, in 1961, right?
Hmm.
This is how people were looking at art.
Yeah.
And then now people have like cans of this have gone on sale at auction for $275,000. Now no one has been able to confirm whether or not, supposedly, his actual feces are in these cans. Supposedly, some people say it's just plaster. Some people say it's actual shit. No one's ever opened them up because that would ruin the whole Schrodinger's box mystery of artist shit in a can.
And
Uh,
also ruin the resale value too.
yeah, and so if you ever want to look down on OnlyFans chicks selling bathwater and farts in a jar, don't worry. There was an Italian guy selling shit in a can
In
70 years before that.
1961.
Yeah, in 1961.
Oh, love that. That's awesome.
So yeah, all we're doing is just repeating, and that's another thing too, to get back into to circle back around.
Hmm.
So that we call that art. The OnlyFans girl sells it, and we call it consumerism,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like, so that's that's another part of that. Yeah, that's one of the fucked up points of history about, or yeah, bits of history about art.
Well,
Um,
I'm going to say that I'm not sure if this is part of your talk there, but that is
no,
kind of,
please go
you bring
ahead.
up an interesting topic. Is basically kind of the art and porn, or sort of argument as well, because there's a lot of times you would see nudity in classic art and classic
Mhm.
portraits and wherever else, and people are like, oh, that's beautiful, it's a bare breast or it's a buttocks or yada yada yada. And then of course sometimes there's some stuff that basically, for some people, maybe going, crossing a line, or going into what they would consider porn, but the person performing it says it's art. So yeah, what's art, what's porn? Is it basically just based on the actual artist performing it, saying, no, this is just porn, we're going to do some things, and she's going to get railroaded 6 ways from Sunday, and there you go.
Yeah.
So so which one's which? So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good point, and it's like, thank you for bringing that, because I didn't even get into, or didn't even think about adding that. But no, you're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
leave it to me to think of porn.
But well, no. So it's like there's even like a certain, okay. So there has been a like legit like scholarly research done into the whole like evolution of like the porn film industry, right? Going
Hmm.
from
Yeah.
like the Nickelodeon stuff, like the little 8 millimeter, 16 millimeter real shit, to
Hmm.
where it's like they're actually filming like actual productions on 35 millimeter film,
Yep.
and to film actual sex on 35 millimeter film, there's a science and a process to it. Like digital now is like, you just let everything just keep running and you don't have to worry about shit, right? Like you just got to worry about your battery and how much hard drive space you got. But
Right.
like film, like you had to light it, right? And it's like, yeah, you had to learn how to light someone's genitals to appear appealing on camera.
Yep.
And yeah, and it's like there's an artistry to that, believe it or not. Yeah, it's very bizarre to look at it that way, but no, all of that is, and it's a lost art because no one films pornography on film anymore, and it's been very badly archived, which goes into another point that I'm making. 99.9% of the art that has ever existed or ever will exist will never be really seen or appreciated by anyone, and
Yep.
it will never, be. Yeah, the art that we have now from history is only what has managed to survive. It is not necessarily what was best
Right.
or what was most or what was most appreciated,
Mhm.
because a lot of history and a lot of that stuff is just happens to be luck
Yep.
and things, which is really bizarre because we look back at things historically and we're like, oh well, this has happened because of this and this and this, and we
Yep.
know for sure. And it's like, yeah, like like a lot of those like statues that we have from Rome, like they don't have arms and noses and shit just because they've been moved around so much and they busted all to hell.
Yep.
But it's like that's
Yes, somebody dropped the statue of Athena and her arms fell off, right? Yeah.
right, yeah, which
Yeah.
sucks, right? But it's like, yeah, it's nobody fixed her. Or then you've got like what was the lady that made the I think it was called the Monkey Christ painting, where there was that fresco, or I don't know if it was a fresco, that picture of Jesus, and she was trying to touch it up,
And she
but
screwed it up.
she
Yes.
screwed it up real bad, but made it a more popular piece after that but than it ever was prior to the restoration. Like
Because
nobody
people
gave a shit. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, and she felt awful about it and everything, and it's like the museum never tried to take or
Fix
to
it.
restore it because it was a much more popular piece than just the way it was.
There basically there was an SNL weekend updates when that happened, and Kate McKinnon plays the old woman, and so she's talking about like it's like, yeah, I make up my Jesus like a D. So it's like, give me my
Yeah.
money. Where's my money? And like it's like, I see Jesus before me, and I'm like, Jesus, why your eyes look like a shark? Because like she made his eyes just black, like
Right.
so like it was like so Jesus appeared to me like this, and so this way I paint him. This is the way Jesus looked. And so like
Yeah. Ugh.
yeah. And so yeah, when you started saying, I was like, oh my god, the monkey Christ, yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So like,
yeah. I'm not being blasphemous or anything. I believe that's actually what it's being called because it looks
yeah,
more just like a
looks
monkey.
like a
Yeah, yeah,
whatever she was doing, it didn't work, and so the our Lord has been turned into a simian. So
yeah, yeah.
well, so well, hey, I mean, the Chinese have the Monkey King, which is a very popular mythical figure, and kind of on some like a demigod level there. So why not have Monkey Christ?
Right, exactly.
He doesn't know kung fu, but he loves peace, and
I mean, he could do kung fu if he wanted to.
I'm sure the Son of God can do kung fu if he wanted to, sure. But he's all about
Yeah,
peace and love, and the only time he really got violent was he had to knock over a table and so stuff like that.
yeah.
So
No, that is true.
so
Yeah,
he
he's
so
pretty
he may be more like the Dudley Boys, Peter, get the tables.
that is one of my okay. So one of this is relevant too because one of the earliest pieces of religious art that I remember, and I remember it being terrifying as a child. Right,
Mm,
going into my church and in the foyer, like right before you go into the sanctuary, there's this giant picture, and of course I'm sure it was not as big as my brain's making it out as big as I was a child, but
yeah,
it felt huge at the time. But it was Jesus overturning the money changers in the temple, right?
yeah.
And so like here's Jesus and he's got this angry looking face and he's like cracking this like it's almost like a whip thing or something, but like he's laying it down and like this table is like splitting in half and the money's flying and these people are running away in terror. And it was just like, wow, like Jesus goes hard, man.
It's Jesus, Bruce Brody.
Yeah, that was kind of what it felt like. Yeah. Yeah, it was. I remember it being absolutely terrifying as a child, but
Love that.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. But anyway, back on track here. Back
Back
on
on track.
track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, that leads me to my next thing where it's, we start to talk about, like, more art in an abstract kind of way, in a more
Okay.
modern art kind of thing, which is, now this guy I thought was interesting as fuck. I saw a YouTube video about this art exhibit, and that's the other thing too. This is like almost a performance art exhibit kind of deal, which I really kind of appreciate. Have you now
Oh yeah.
you've heard about this, the Can't Help Me?
Dude, this is so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing, it's this Chinese p artist duo, and they made this thing for the Guggenheim Museum, on commission, and it's this robot arm that now this robot, the arm is like your basic, like, auto plant assembly arm, right? Like, fitted with a special kind of shovel sponge,
Mhm.
and it is its programming is to contain the red liquid as close to its base as it can. And so as the liquids and of course the floor is built in a way where it's always going to keep pooling out perpetually, right?
Yeah.
And between as this robot arm is scooping the liquid back to it after it scoops so much, if anyone is watching from the outside, it has to do a little dance move, right? And it was
Mhm.
programmed with like 42 little different moves that it would do. So and they started this thing up and left it running for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So the first year it's going on and everything's kind of cool. It's being jaunty, and it's like, bebopping around, it's keeping the fluid going or
Yeah.
keeping the fluid, pretty well contained. The second year, it's missing a step or two. It's running a little slower, it's getting a little tired, some shit's starting to happen. This picture looks more like a second year towards the end of the second year.
Yeah.
Uh, because yeah, after a while, like the fluid just started to get in the wall. By the third year, it was just it looked like blood was just everywhere,
Yeah.
all over the walls, and the arms had been running. Now this had been running 24/7 for
Mhm.
3 solid years.
For 3 years.
And
Yeah.
yeah, no stops for maintenance, no stops for any kind of break. The arm had just been perpetually running until the artists came back to unplug it. And as like its last days, it barely could function to keep anything going. It was just so weak and tired. And finally it was put out of its misery. But it's like, yeah, it's been called the loneliest robot
Yeah.
on Earth, and it's an art exhibit to kind of depending on how you look at it, it can mean so many different things. But yeah, it's very sad and it's very lonely, and it makes you really ponder our relationship with machines and things like that. Like this kind of art is something that makes you really think on a deeper level, I think. If
Absolutely. I mean,
if you care to consider it, that is.
well, it's a commentary on machines and our usage and our relationship with them. It's also a commentary on just us as human beings working. It's like
Yeah,
there's a lot of times we are working in jobs that basically like we're making ends meet, we're living paycheck to paycheck, stuff like that. But there's always a disaster sometimes some around the corner, possibly that causes
right.
financial issues, or Johnny needs braces or something. And so yeah, I mean, there's times like we just work ourselves to death till we can't do it anymore. Then yeah, basically it's like just kill me. So
Right,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
there's so much commentary to read into this.
Yeah. And it's really a fascinating piece of art, and especially like how you can look at it and almost start to feel like empathetic towards the robot arm that feels absolutely nothing.
Oh
Right?
yeah,
Like, yeah, you put feelings towards it and you want to like hug it or, help it or do, something like you feel bad for it, and
yeah,
it's just machinery winding down, but there's that how we feel it and how we perceive it because it does the jaunty dance moves. People were personifying it, right? And made it
hmm,
like it made it that much worse. Like just to see it struggle.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's always been. I've always been kind of those kinds of people that puts persona on things, like, or like if there's a machine that has broken down, some appliance or coffee maker or whatever else that's broken down, we have to replace it with a new one. I always make a point to say goodbye and thank you to the previous device,
Right, right,
so I get
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for service and shit like that.
You
So
watch
yes,
Maximum Overdrive too. I understand. Like, yeah, it's
yeah.
we don't, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want the ATM to call me an asshole. Yeah. So,
Right, right, right.
but yeah, so it's like, so yeah, when this story originally came out several years ago, yeah, I read the article about it, and yeah, I absolutely attached empathy to the arm. So
Yeah,
yeah, 100%.
yeah. So that leads me to the last little bit of our section, and it's a question that like I have not asked you up to this point, and I do not know the answer to it. So it's like I'm very curious.
All
How do
right.
you feel about AI art, quote unquote?
Hmm. Ultimately, I'm not a fan. I see people who don't have any artistic ability who can make little things on Facebook or YouTube or whatever else, and they think they're kind of doing some stuff. And there may be some benefits to AI that are beyond my pay grade or whatever else. But in the ways I've seen so far utilized, it's a lot of just bullshit and subterfuge. They're making fake videos, we're making fake pictures, whatever
Mhm.
else. And of course, people who are actual artists who do a physical medium, even if they work in a digital, they even if they draw digitally, still they are physical artists doing something there.
Right.
That's taking away jobs from them. There are companies who are firing their artistic teams or whatever else and going all AI. There are people who are going AI with their advertising and whatever else. And sometimes they do it okay. Sometimes it shows that it's AI.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very new thing, and I don't like the fact that we're so quick to use it to replace everything and to replace basically doing things and thinking about things or trying to create things or whatever else. We type in some code and ding Bob's your uncle. There you go. If you don't like it, you tweak it and you tweak it till you like it.
Right. Right.
There you go.
Now, okay, no, 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 that is totally fair. Because
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like we're definitely in a very early stage with AI and what it
Hmm.
does with especially with like image generation and large language models.
Yeah.
And as far as like ethic, like there's a whole other kit and caboodle to unpack with like as far as the ethics of AI are concerned, and like is all that stuff. But
Yeah.
no, very much like what you were saying is like yeah, it's being used in a lot of different creative spaces, and it's a negative. The thing that I keep going back to around it as being used as a tool. My perspective is it's like I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea of it being used as a tool to
And I would agree
enhance
with that.
things,
Yeah.
and to a certain extent I'm even okay. Like I have no like in this whole dealing with like trying to define what art is. I've
Hmm.
almost softened my stance on AI to a bit because it became very apparent of like who am I to tell someone else what art is if they want to claim it. Now I don't have to interact with it.
Sure.
I don't interact with like obvious very like there's this big trend right now of like here's the AI's rendition of realistic GI Joes, right? I
Yeah.
don't give a shit about that. Take that shit and just go on because all it is just
Yeah.
big titty bear in his pictures anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that does no interest to me whatsoever. But
Hmm.
like there's one gentleman who like I follow on Instagram, right, who makes like his toy photos, but
Yeah.
he makes like a comic book panel out of them and uses them to make like his own little thing. And it's like there's obviously a human hand that's been involved with like this to a certain extent, but there's also that AI part of it. And it's
Okay.
like if this dude's just by himself doing it and like he's trying to make his gig, and it's obvious like he puts the AI tags on there and like
Yeah.
all this shit, and it's like that part like it's like that's his art, and it's like he's doing something kind of creative about it. Because
Yeah.
if you look at other kinds of if you look at what we look at as art, a lot of people never considered it art in the first place. Like uh so with comic books, some people don't consider those art
Right.
sometimes. Like that's a very thing. Roger Ebert very famously said that he didn't think video games would ever be considered art,
Hmm.
and we both know that he is objectively wrong there
Hmm.
with that
He never
point.
he never got to play Shadow of the Colossus, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's this idea that like okay, so Charles Dickens, one of the greatest or people consider him one of the greatest literary writers of all time. He was a pulp writer,
Yeah.
he was like he was a he was on like he at in his lifetime he was a very rich pulp writer, but he was still a pulp writer nonetheless,
Well,
and
to capitalize a little bit on the Charles Dickens thing,
yeah,
one of my favorite great British holiday traditions around Christmas time is to tell ghost stories. And we're not talking like, evil, crazy stuff. Sometimes it's just like a little bit spooky or whatever else, but sometimes it makes you think or makes you consider things about life, whatever else. So
yeah,
A Christmas Carol was literally following in that tradition. It just so happens to be the most famous British Christmas ghost story, but there are hundreds of them. They've made movies like the BBC for years did a ghost story at Christmas series where they usually ran like maybe 90 minutes or less
yeah,
sometimes. Featuring a lot of actors we would know from later movies, like oh shit, now all the names escape me, but a lot of familiar British actors that we would know from different movies and TV and things like that. And then, of course, they've kind of revived that tradition. There's some companies who are doing more recent British, ghost stories for Christmas time. So yeah, it's one of my favorite traditions from Great Britain around Christmas. But yeah, A Christmas Carol is literally the most famous of these
right,
British Christmas stories. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love that is a British tradition.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Even at Christmas, we have a little bit of Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. But going back to what I was saying with in
Yeah.
regards to the AI thing and like what people consider art and don't consider art. Now, I'm not of the mindset like I don't believe that there will be like this whole like the real art is never going to go like quote unquote, humans creating art is never going to stop.
Sure.
Right? Like people are always going to be writing, people are always going to be making music, putting pen to paper and drawing, doing whatever, like, toy
Sculpting. Yeah.
photo,
Whatever.
yeah, sculpting toy photos, that's my shit.
Hmm.
And but people are always going to do that. Now, whether or not that we can get paid for it is a totally different argument. I'm of the mindset that it's like, sure, if you can get paid for it, by all means, but you should never feel entitled to get paid for being creative. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you just want to be creative, you just want to be creative.
Yeah.
It would,
Treat it as a hobby that's one that can develop, possibly.
yeah,
But a hobby you sometimes have to hone.
yeah, yeah. It was that's one lesson that I had to learn too. It's like one of my favorite hobbies is to just write, right? And
Yep.
it's like I've written movie reviews and like that shit is out there, but it's like a lot of stuff that I have written like I've just never really I've kept it for me. I've enjoyed writing it, but it's never anything that I felt like I've needed to share with anyone unless it's been like a very specific thing. Some
Yeah.
people do not fathom this idea that I am not trying to write to make money,
Right.
and that astounds me. Like they just like, so you just sit there and just write and like no one will ever read it. Maybe not, who the fuck knows, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're not trying to make a book or or a screenplay or anything.
right,
You're just writing to write. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, just because I want to do it, like it's fun to be creative. It's yeah, just my shit. It's like
Sure.
I feel like, it's like there's I feel like I also write in other ways and put things out there too. It's not like, I have to do prose to be, a writer, so to speak.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
that's kind of like an expressive way to be like a different kind of art, like, a different, I, another way, something else that falls under the artist umbrella, like
Hmm.
generally speaking. So going back to the whole thing with the AI, it's like I don't think we're ever going to lose that, and I think AI is going to be a trend that's going to die out eventually
No.
because
Maybe not. Yeah. It may be something that
it,
gets better and we incorporate it into society. You never know. Yeah.
yeah, I take that back. I don't think it's ever going to truly die out, but I think that our use of it will be more focused in case in point. Like advertising going the way of AI does not surprise me at all because most advertising is just garbage junk anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, but yeah, that's a whole other. that's a whole other to
But
do.
and of
But
course,
yeah.
we've even got to the point where like I watched like an Almond Breeze, soy milk commercial where they were joking around with the Jonas Brothers, going like, "Oh, we're gonna do a commercial for for almond milk, and we got this whole AI commercial. It's already done. Here you go." And they're like, "Why do we have to do all this crap? Just talk about how good almond milk is." And so they're making fun of people doing AI, but they did an AI thing, and so
Yeah, yeah,
it's this whole
the
this whole meta
Ouroboros.
thing
Yeah, yeah. But
the vortex swirls further.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, so it's just yeah, it's just be cool and just let people do their art, however they want to feel like they want to do it. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I totally get that too. I mean, honestly, there's times it's like I'm kind of asking, like, especially with some AI art, it's like, why are you putting so much effort into this when I literally saw like a video of somebody like, people could do videos of like them accepting awards for things they've got nothing to do
yeah,
with. Like
right,
somebody
yeah,
was accepting an
right,
Oscar or somebody's getting a Grammy or whatever else. And
yeah,
they give a speech, but it's them and it's their voice. Like,
yeah.
that's weird.
That's very bizarre to me. I saw, yeah, as I'm scrolling through Instagram, I saw that there was an ad for this AI thing where it puts you in movie scenes. So there's this like middle-aged dad that's like, fighting Thanos, and then like he's
Mm-hmm.
like got the Captain America shield. The comments were brutal to this guy too, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that
And
kind of
yeah,
shit. It's like,
that's
I
the
don't
kind of
know.
stuff I don't understand. Now I have dabbled with a little bit of AI use in my toy photography.
Mm-hmm.
I will go ahead and say that now. There I tried to use it to make effects a couple of times,
Oh yeah.
and it actually came out pretty good. Like that Punisher thing where he's stabbing scrap iron in the neck and it's
Oh
squirting the
yeah,
blood.
that was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that was an AI effect. Now the caveat to that I did not know at the time is that that picture looks like almost identical to what I shot, right? Except for the blood effect. But
Yeah.
no, that is actually AI just re-rendering the entire thing down
Wow.
to the pixel. So it is not the original picture in any way, shape, or form.
It's a
Um,
facsimile in some
it's a
way. Yeah.
facsimile. Yeah, which is that's the part to me that's almost hesitant as far as my concern with using AI in toy photography is that
Mm,
it's like I'm using something to paint to make like a fake overlay onto it that I don't control. I'm just making a template for the overlay, and that feels odd to me. Like
yeah.
I've tried it a couple of other times with a couple of other pictures, and it's come out okay, but just the whole idea of that it's not really, if it could be like a cut and paste, like a generative thing, like where I put something on top of the picture or something like that,
Mhm.
might be a totally different ball
Yeah,
game.
if it
Yeah.
was like Photoshop where you took the original image, then laid effects over the original image, sure, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing too. It's like Photoshop has a lot of AI tools in it now. So it's like
Ah,
what are we counting where it's like not using AI and shit like this? Cuz like me removing figure stands in some of my pictures,
mhm.
that's generative fill. That's AI, right? Like that's
Yeah,
like in the background they're like going through like and fixing it. And it looks fine, it's like
sure.
like I've never learned how to do it in Photoshop. I just you do it on the app on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's like, but some people will consider it's like that's AI usage, so it's like it's not real. But it's like, 98% of that picture is, as I took it, you know,
Well, I
in
I
the
seem to
phone. But
remember a
yeah.
really badass was it Snake? Oh no, Ghost Rider. Yeah, your Ghost Rider one you took where there was no AI usage. It was
Oh
all
yeah.
lighting and where else. And that thing you said that took you like 2 months to do.
Yeah, no, yeah, that because I had to, yeah, oh god, that one was, I had to, number one, I had to wait for the right light outside where I was taking my pictures because it was like it lit, like lighting the whole room is a pain in the ass. Like I can only
Yeah.
take there's a different times a day where I take pictures of my house. I had to get the felt background, right? Because it's like having like you start to learn like how light reflects different on different material and everything. So it's like I
Hmm.
had to actually get like a felt backdrop because
Oh,
it didn't have light, but like it didn't have light bleed coming off the back. You would probably know this because you worked in TV for so long, right? But it's like I didn't,
oh yeah.
like yeah. So it's like I had to do that, and then to get the setup for it, and then I found these things were cool as shit, and I've used them multiple times. They're little LED lights
Oh
where
yeah.
like they're little balls, and oh, we lost you.
Oh, there you go. We're back. Oh, nope.
Oh,
There we go.
there, yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but
Oh,
Pepper,
well.
did you touch a wire?
But they're little balls, and they're LED balls, and like they've got like the little tab, and you pull it out, and that turns the light on, and it's got like, and they're different colors, but they're about the size of a dime.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's like, and they come in multiple colors. So it's like I took where he's got the translucent plastic on it, right? I took like
Yeah.
4 or 5 of the red ones and clustered them and stuck them and to illuminate, and make it look like the fire and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, so just to learn how to do that, the test shots that I did before were just awful, but like yeah, that one, once I finally got it, that one felt really good. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. You worked hard on that when you told us about it, and the results were amazing. So yeah.
well, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, and definitely check our Facebook page and our YouTube pages if you guys haven't seen Seth's action figure videos. Of course, he's got a couple of videos using actual Joe figures. He's got some videos that he's done using the Four Horsemen, which are recreations of us and our friends Steve and Eric. And then,
I'm working on another one of those, by the way. We
ooh,
should have
cool,
another one soon. I,
nice.
I'm trying to there's a new technique that I'm learning about with these stuff. Because there was this one guy that was like, yeah, it's like do you mind if I show you or tell you some things about puppetry? And I'm like, fuck no, like what are you talking about? Like, so have you ever
Yes,
heard of
please.
this like film style called brickaway or
No.
brickwave? Or it's where it's more of a dynamic, it's not stop motion, right? But it's more of like the figures are static pose, but you're using camera angles and cuts to move them. So
Okay.
it's more of a dynamic shot style.
Hmm.
And like yeah, it's like there it's really interesting to do with like fight scenes and stuff. So I'm kind of dabbling in that, trying to make something work.
Nice.
Like, yeah, so yeah.
Nice. That sounds cool. But yeah, I was gonna say somebody like you would like to learn some about puppetry. Yes, I would, please. Thank you.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then, of course, your Conan reviews videos, which I think are the creme de la creme of what you've been doing. Those get better and better with the comedy writing, and of course, with Conan's movements and doing whatever else. But yeah, if you all have, and Conan's doing movie reviews, and these are true to Conan, what his experience would be to watching movies. We're talking Sophie's Choice, Forrest Gump, Rudy, and of course, you can't forget the '80s Fred Savage classic, The Wizard.
Yeah.
So yeah, but oh my god, yeah. So, and frankly, I would like to see Conan review a horror movie
There might be one in the pipe. I've got yeah.
because
I've
you've got several planned. Yeah, you've got
yeah,
a
I've
whole.
got several I've got several shot. I just need to make them. Like I've got to put the edits app is really bizarre after a while, because there's sometimes like sorry, we're running long here, and the art conversation's over, by the way. But yeah, it's but,
Yeah.
no, so the iPhone is really kind of hard to shoot with now, and I feel like I've almost
Hmm,
outgrown it, because like trying to get the shots that I need, that like number one, the camera settings are a pain in the ass to fuck with, because there's no way that you can just be like, don't turn shit on ever. Right.
okay.
Like it's always like, when the light's in this condition, we're gonna put it in night mode on you. And then you try and take a picture, it's gonna be all fucked up. But yeah, it's like there's no like it's got like the digital equivalent of some of the settings, but if I had like a real DSLR or a mirrorless camera or something, I could do like, like long exposures,
Yeah, I
which
got you.
yeah, which I can't do on the phone, because they just treat it like it's or they want to pretend like it's all movement, and so it's
Right.
just a burst photo setting, when it's not really just true long exposure where the shutter's open, right?
Okay.
Like yeah, but yeah,
I know.
someday I'll get that DSLR, but yeah, it's
Oh no, but yeah, but still, yeah, I've just really enjoyed what you've putting out with those. Like I said, and just the writing on the Conan reviews, like I said, they're getting better and better. So yeah,
well,
just
thank you, thank you.
yeah, especially when you got there's the first Rudy review, and then basically Conan had to do a revisit because apparently he got a little off topic.
Yeah, yeah, that was actually based off of real feedback.
And it was
But
based on real feedback. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that was my favorite when they got the revisit. Like, okay, so I talked about this the whole time, didn't really talk about the movie, so now I gotta talk about the movie here.
yeah,
But then somehow still managed to bring it back to the
yeah.
original topic where he got off track. So just chef's kiss. That was good shit.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Oh, well, that was a fascinating topic there with the effed up history of art. And of course, that's something you delve in even further, and basically, like, literally, yeah, but yeah, it's like there's so much subjectivity when it comes to it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
great
it's like that's
stuff,
just
though.
scratching the surface. Art history is like in and of itself is crazy.
You
just
know,
like of what was allowed to survive in some cases, because some art was just like so like out there and subversive that it was just outright destroyed. And yeah,
yeah.
but
I mean, sometimes art didn't survive the Catholic Church. They didn't survive wars. You know, not
yeah,
just World War One or two and the Nazis. Like they didn't survive like Genghis Khan, maybe.
right, yeah,
Kind of
exactly,
shit, stuff like Alexander the Great. Stuff like that. So like,
yeah,
there's a lot of You're right. There's so much that's probably is completely lost to history because of things like that.
yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so fascinating stuff, man. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on the Fanatic Forum. We appreciate you each and every week on here. Of course, this weekend we got Backlash on Saturday.
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat 2 is in theaters, and apparently it's really good. Like it's getting better reviews than the first one. So,
Okay, cool.
but
It
of course,
looks
I think
cool, yeah,
you got Carl Urban coming in as Johnny Cage. I mean,
yeah,
come on. I'm in.
yeah.
So it looks fun. But yeah, so I know we're gonna check out that one this weekend, or I'll be on Monday. But either way, but yeah, so lots of fun things to do this weekend. Of course, hopefully the weather stays nice. You'll enjoy that out there. But
Yeah.
anyway, hope you all have yourselves a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time on the Fanatic Forum. And of course, we got a little word from our friends from Comic Books for Kids, but otherwise, y'all have a good one. We'll see you.
Later, y'all.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Truth. And overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.